Hey everybody, it's Seeker, and today's video is a little bit hard for me to make. I'll be honest with you, it's really hard for me to get in front of this camera and tell you guys that I may have found a fake 5-ounce silver bar in my silver stack that I didn't know was there. Yeah, that is right. Now, I'm not 100%, that's what we're going to figure out in today's video, but I do know that this thing is not passing the PMV test as well as I thought it would, and that really scares me. So I figured we'd go even farther. We'd do a specific gravity test. I'd show you the PMV test. And as well as if we determine that it's probably fake going through all those steps, we may even drill into it to be 100% sure in this very video. But like I said, it's really hard for me to get in front of you and tell you that I may have a fake silver bar because in addition to the last 4 years of me talking to you about why I stack silver and why I believe in silver, I've also done many videos showing you how to detect fake silver and keep it out of your stack. So it's hard for me to get on here and say, hey, look, I'm not perfect. And of course, nobody's perfect, but it's hard for me to get on here and say, hey, I've been telling you how to detect silver. Guess what? I got some too. Oops. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. But really quick, if you are new to this channel, if you like videos like this, if you want to learn more about how to detect your fake silver and keep it out of your stack, if you want to learn more about why I stack silver and believe everyone should, do me a favor. Don't forget to go down below and make sure you are subscribed and click the like button because that helps YouTube recommend this video to others. And with that said, let's find out if this thing is really fake. Okay, so for today's testing, and just to make sure that we have a control, I have two Buffalo silver bars here. They're not exactly the same, but this one here in the plastic is the one that I believe is real, and this one is the one that I believe is fake. Now, just so you know, this fake one originally, or the one I think is fake, originally came in a plastic just like this, and when it didn't test out on the PMV, I went ahead and cut it out for further testing, and I figured let's just do it here in the video so we can go over it together and you can see what you're looking for. And now all the test methods that we are going to use, I have done previous videos on. I'll try to remember to put links below. The first thing we're going to do is use a magnet. So this is a neodymium magnet. This is a rare earth magnet. Now, if you didn't know this already, silver is actually diamagnetic. And what it means is that while it doesn't stick to a magnet, it does react to a magnet's force. And so otherwise, when we put the silver bar in here, as you can see, it slid very slowly and actually even moved a little bit going down the magnet. Now, if we put this one on here, it does the same thing. So this right here is the reason that I am not a fan of the magnetic testing, because this bar right here is showing the same exact results as the one I know is real, even though for the second test, which is the PMV, I'm going to show you that these are very, very different. So let's get out to the PMV and see what those have to say. Okay, now that we know both of our bars are passing the magnet test, let's test them on the PMV and see what they say. We got both the original and the pro, and if you guys are interested in these, I have a video down below that did a full review on both of these, and as of the time of this recording, there's actually a coupon code on that video that's still good for a couple of weeks. It will save you some money on these. All right, so let's go ahead and start with one we know is real. It's set up for 99.9% pure. And as we put it on the sensor, as you can see, it is ready to go. It is right between the brackets, dead center where you expect it to be. Now let's go ahead and test our fake bar and see what it has to say. And as you can see, our fake bar is showing not only off to the right or off to the left, but way outside of the brackets. Let's go ahead and center it just a little bit better. And again, it is showing way off to the right, outside of the brackets. This is being tested as not real by the Sigma PMV. Okay, but let's try the PMV Pro out. We'll get the original out of the way because the PMV Pro tests all the way through the bar. So same thing, we have the original, or the one that's real here, I should say. We're going to put it under the sensor. And as you can see, this one is testing all the way through the bar, and both arrows are in the green, 1.61 and 1.59 on the resistivity test. For a 5-ounce silver bar, it's going all the way through. It's testing it through and on the surface. Let's test this one here. And take a look at these readings. 1.78 on the through, 1.8 on the surface, way off to the right, almost into the red on both of these numbers. Now, another thing that the PMV Pro can do is it can actually measure it, which is kind of like a specific gravity test. So we know it's 5 ounces, and we have it set here and there. It knows how thick it is. The sensor is able to detect thickness. Let's go ahead and measure it, go to rectangular. As you can see, it set us up a little box on the screen here, and we have this line that we want to fit it in. So as you can see, this orange lit up right here, and what that means is we are going to take our bar and we're going to line it up with the dotted lines on the orange sensor. All right, so as you can see, this right here is, let's get it. All right, so as you can see, this right here is on the lines, and this bar is actually going over the line all the way to the left. It's lined up with the bottom line, but it's going over the line to the left. What does that mean? Well, that means this is a little bit bigger than it was expecting, but that could be accounted for, you know, because of relief and things like that. So that's why there is this green line here as well. and it was really, really close to the edge of the green line as well. There wasn't much room left. So this, just like putting it under the sensor itself, while in the yellow, means it's really, really close. It's still measuring as a bit off. Actually, now, there we go. Yeah, so it's still measuring as a little bit off. It wasn't centered there. All right, so we've done the magnet test, and it passed. We did the PMV test, and it didn't pass. Now, with the PMV test, even on the original, if I would have put this on the original and it did what it did, I would have never bought this bar. I would have passed on it. We're going to keep going since I already own the bar, and so there's no risk since I already have it. So let's find out what else we can find out about it by doing specific gravity testing. So let's do that next. All right, so now that we see it's passed the magnetic test, but it's failed the PMV test, let's get a little bit deeper. We are going to do the specific gravity test. Now, this test right here is very, very good. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's cheap. All you need is a really good scale with very good accuracy and some water, and of course your silver bar, and then, you know, a small piece of string. I usually use dental floss. But the first thing you want to do is you want to actually weigh the bar. So we're going to put the bar on the scale, and you're going to see that we have a weight of 156.14 grams. So we're going to write that number down. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your solution, which is just water, in a cup, and we're going to put it on the scale, and then we're going to tear our scale out to 0 so the scale is completely zeroed out with the water present, like so. So you can see it zeroed and locked in. Then we're going to take our piece of string, we are going to wrap it around our silver bar and tie it up so we can suspend it in the water. Let's do that. Okay, and as you can see, we have our bar completely wrapped up with the dental floss. It took me a little bit of work there. But now that we have it, what we want to do is we want to suspend the silver in the solution without it touching the sides or the edge. So we have to be very careful to get it in there without touching it. All the way submerged, but not touching the bottom or the sides. All right, and it looks like, oh, it hit the side and moved big. All right, as you can see, when it's suspended, we had 14.85. It moved to 14.84, but the first one I saw was 14.85, so we have 14.85 is what the specific gravity was when it was suspended in water. Now we just do some math. We take the 156.14 and divide it by 14.85, and we get, and this is really surprising, we get a specific gravity of 10.514 grams. And the reason that's so surprising is that the specific gravity of silver is between 10.4 and 10.6. So this silver bar right here just passed the specific gravity test. Even if you adjust for the difference in density that maybe this little piece of string caused, this little piece of dental floss right here, you still have 10.514 grams on this silver bar. That doesn't make any sense. So the question becomes, what is right? Is it the specific gravity test, which is definitely a scientific test, or is it the PMV, the electronic tester? I think the only thing we can do to answer this question is we're actually going to have to drill inside of this bar and see what's actually on the inside. So let's grab a drill and get it done. Okay, so our next test, we only get one take at it. This is our same bar. I taped it down to a board so it won't move, and I also don't want to go through my desk. And we are going to drill into this thing and just see what we get in the center. Why is it passing the specific gravity but not the PMV? Seriously, that is a concern. I would imagine that the specific gravity would be more scientifically accurate than the PMV, but I really want to know. And if this is real, this is going to be really cringy because I won't be able to, sell this bar as a 5-ounce bar. I'll still be able to sell it for someone that wants to melt it down. So I don't know. Let's go find out. All right, guys, here we go. You only get one shot at this. All right, let's go. All right, so we drilled quite a bit, probably halfway into our silver. It definitely was throwing off some shreds and stuff like that, which is great because we need something to test, and we're going to go ahead and test probably a couple of these little things right here. Let's get a little bit farther in, just because it's certainly not all the way through. Let's just go a little bit deeper. All right, we are officially all the way through the bar. I saw some wood coming through, but not all the way into our desk, which was my primary concern. All right, so all the way into the bar. Let's get this off. To me, it looks silver all the way through, but let's go ahead and test some of this silver here and see what happens. Okay, so here's our test sample right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of this acid and put it on it and see how it reacts. What we're looking for is it to turn blue and bubble a little bit. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we are getting some blue specks coming off of our silver, which is what we're kind of looking for here. Yep, quite a bit of blue coming off, actually. It is turning blue. So our silver acid is reacting the way that I expected it to react to the silver. Let's go ahead and see what it did to the silver, though. All right. Looks okay. A little tarnished, which is to be expected. Let's go ahead. One thing I was doing before we got to this part of the video, I was looking down inside of the hole with the magnifying glass. Oh, that doesn't look good. I was looking down inside the hole with the magnifying glass, and I noticed some different colors down there. So let's go ahead and add through the through this. Here we go. See what we got. Boy, I don't like that color. Is that right? Is it supposed to do that to silver? Boy, that's a lot of acid. That stuff stinks. Probably shouldn't be breathing that in. That is interesting. Let me get this cleaned up, guys. We'll be right back, and we'll take a little bit closer of a look. Okay, so I went ahead and turned on the fans for some better ventilation, so I apologize if you hear that background noise. I really don't like what that's doing to the surface, but maybe that's just what this acid does to the surface of real silver. So we're gonna put some of it on here and just see what happens. All right, so you can see it is turning that same brown. Let's give it a second and wipe it off. So it is doing roughly the same thing to this buffalo that we know for a fact is real. So I guess that's not a big deal. The only thing is, it seems that it may have done... Wow, man, it almost toned that side of it, didn't it? Interesting. Take a look. Huh. It seems like it did more to this one, though. Let's do this again. Again, I got the ventilation going, so my apologies. Alright, it's turning blue a little bit here. A little bit on both. Okay. Let's wipe that off. Alright. Alright, so it's, if you notice on this one, the acid definitely changed the color, but nothing like it did on this. This one looks like it's actually corroding the metal. Whereas on this one, it looks like it's just discoloring the metal. So I do wonder what's going on with the surface of this, if that's actually plated. See, it actually looks like corrosion on this one, whereas on this one, it just looks like discoloration. All right, I think the next thing we're gonna do, I know this video is getting long, but let's go ahead and drill another hole into it, and I may even grab my Dremel and just try and cut into it and see what happens. So you know how it goes, whenever you need something, you can't find it, and I was unable to find the cutting pieces for my Dremel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bore a bigger hole into this. We have a much bigger drill bit here. And for those wondering, yes, I am wearing eye protection. I'm not crazy. Although I couldn't find my safety glasses, I'm literally wearing my son's paintball mask. But, you know, as long as something doesn't get in your eye, that's what matters. All right, let's get deeper into this and see what we can do. Well, we are definitely more into the bar with a bigger drill bit. Let's clean it up. We didn't get all the way through, so we didn't touch the wood. And at this point, I'm definitely losing. If this is silver, I'm losing some silver. There's no question about that. All right, so that's good enough for me. Everything appears to be fine inside of the bar. You know, it tested out as silver using the acid test. The only thing that I can come to the conclusion with on this bar is that it is not as pure as they make it out to be. Maybe it's 95%. What I want to do, I want to do one last thing. I want to pull out the PMV and put it on sterling. I know it's not sterling. It has to be more pure than sterling, but I want to test it on sterling just to see if the numbers are more accurate. We'll also test it on 90% and see if it's more accurate. I don't think they have any other test any closer than that on the PMV, but we will go ahead and do that because clearly this is silver, and I am now semi-destroying my silver bar, and I also want to weigh it and see how much silver I've actually lost by doing this. I'll try and save as much of the scrap as I can for someone who melts silver, but you know, at this point, maybe I need to start melting because this bar isn't going to be good for anything else. I'll send it to Rob or something, have him make me something out of it. All right, so let's do that. Let's test it out and see what the purity, or see if the PMV can pick up a different purity for this. Let's do that. All right, guys, so I cleaned up the desk. This is the shavings that I could pick up. I know I lost a little bit of silver here. We do know this thing's silver. We just don't know what's going on, why it's failing on the PMV, but it's passing on specific gravity. I don't understand it either. Here's our 1 ounce round, just to show you. We're already on pure silver. Let's go ahead and put it under the sensor. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's right where we expect it to be, 1.64, almost into the green. If this were 4 nines fine, it'd be farther over to the left, definitely into the green. It's 3 nines fine, so it's right there. And then I bet if we, oh, it's on 5 ounce. So I bet if we did the specific gravity, the measurement test, this is going to line up. So you put it line to line, bingo. I mean, it's perfect. It's right exactly what we are expecting to look for. All right, if we do our 5 ouncer, let's be careful with this because this side's sharp, this side's super smooth, so we'll just put this one down. This is not my PMV Pro. This is the guy who I borrowed it from for the review. And why does it say? Oh, it says small because the weight's wrong, and it's wondering why it's only 1 ounce. But anyway, all right, so yeah, so right here we have 1.79, 1.86, 1.85, what we had before. And then if we measure it, we know the measurements, we already did that. The only other thing we can do is there is different selections for silver here. So there's sterling, there's 90% coin silver, there's 96% Britannia. That's the only options they have for silver. So let's go ahead and test the purity of this and see if maybe it tests as coin silver. I don't think it's going to be as low as coin silver. Let's go ahead and test as sterling. So we're going to go ahead and test it for sterling. Maybe someone just poured a sterling silver bar marked at 999. Ooh. Oh, we might be onto something here, guys. It may not be as pure, but take a look. It's really far to the left. It's hitting the yellow up here. It's basically to the yellow down here. So it's testing as way far to the left for sterling silver, which means it's more pure than sterling, I believe, which means the only other thing we can test, the only other thing this thing tests that's more pure than sterling is 96% silver. So here we go, 96% Britannia. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Take a look at this, guys. Almost dead center. All of this testing, the drilling, the specific gravity, and that would make sense why it passes specific gravity, because the specific gravity of silver isn't an exact science. It can be up or down a little bit depending on exactly how pure it is. That's what we are missing. This just isn't 99.9% silver. Wow, all that drilling, the acid testing, everything, just to find out that it passes 96% silver test. Interesting. Well, so what does that tell us? What does that tell us? That tells us that this PMV is awesome, because I would not have bought this because it failed on even the PMV original. This failed the test. I would have just not bought it. And knowing it's only 96% pure, I still would not have bought it. Because this is marked as 999 fine silver, but very clearly it's not quite 999 fine, is it? We're missing a few percentage points on that silver bar. So it looks like what we don't have is a fake silver bar. We have one that's marked to be more pure than it actually is. And I wonder how common this is. This is the only bar I've seen in my entire stack that has done this, but I wonder how common it is for them to, you know, have it just be a little bit less pure. I mean, imagine at 96%, you could pour, let's see, for every 25 bars, you are saving a full bar. So for every 25 5-ounce bars at 96% instead of 99.9%, you have a free 5 ounces of silver. Wow. Does this have a maker on it? No, it doesn't. You don't even know what mint made this thing. Well, there you go, guys. If that doesn't make a case for the PMV, I don't know what does. Again, if you guys want to see the review for the PMV, do me a favor. There's a link down below. I don't make anything off of any sales of the PMV, so this is 100% impartial. I literally make nothing. But there is a very cool coupon you guys can check out. If you want to check it out, there'll be a link down below. But boy, that was eye-opening, wasn't it? That right there showed us that the PMV is good for more than just detecting fake silver, but for detecting silver that's not quite as pure as we thought it was. If I would have only done specific gravity on this thing, I would have absolutely had no problem with it. But now I know it's 96% instead of 99.9%. Except for now I have a hole in it. So maybe I'll send it off to Rob or someone and have him melt me a 96% pure ingot or something. I don't know. But either way, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Very, very long video, but I think it was eye-opening. I hope you enjoyed the video and the investigation as well. So I know you guys were wondering how much silver we lost by drilling into our bar, so let's find out. We have it teared out with the bag for a reason. So it went from 156.14 down to 152.52. We lost about 3.5 grams. Now, if we add our shreds back, which are in the same bag, which is why I teared out the bag to 0, we're at 155.41 from 156.14. We lost about 0.7 of a gram of silver that we just lost, you know, by drilling. Not so bad, I would say. Now I can send this off and get it melted. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Check out my channel members there on the right-hand side of the screen. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you next time.